Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and this is a cut test video. We got Civivi's 14C28N blade steel that I freehand sharpened on a live video the other day, and it's incredibly sharp. We got a right around a 17-degree edge bevel at about 5,000 grit. I sharpened it on my venev diamond stones, and came out very nice. It is incredibly sharp, and it will absolutely not just shave hair, but you just barely touch hair and it'll pop it right off. So I don't have much hair here, but you can see it's incredibly sharp. The cardboard I have is 15 inches by 18 inches. Each sheet is the exact same. They all come from the same place, same exact cardboard. Now, the one issue is that from the other cut testers out there, my cardboard's not going to be the same. Maybe I should have went and got the exact same cardboard that they use, but I didn't. I got this stuff from my work. You know, it is what it is. Take it for what it's worth. There is going to be a lot of variables, especially difference, especially in between two different cut testers. So, I can't really do too much about some of the variables, but, it's as scientific as you want to think it is. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyways because I am curious of how many feet of cardboard I can cut with this knife. Let's get into it. Now, like I said, I sharpened this thing in a live sharpening video, about 17 degrees per side, using my venev diamond stones. They're resin bonded diamond stones that go from, I went from 165/125 micron to 3/2 micron, which is basically a 5,000 grit edge. It did take an incredibly sharp edge like 14C usually does. Some companies do it better than others, just like any steel, but usually 14C28N is pretty easy for companies to do, so you don't really see it ever that bad. You just sometimes see it better than others, like average and then better. And I felt that Civivi was doing a pretty good job with it. So I was really wanting a cut test done with it. And so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're doing the cut test. Now, I know people are going to be upset that I didn't do a verifiable cut test. I know I'm going to get some flack for that, which it's okay. Leave it down in the comments. I should have done another cut test to verify my number, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll probably do another one with the work sharp system and just do two different videos because I didn't want this video to be 30 minutes long for you guys. And yeah, so I'll definitely do that. Maybe within the next week or so, I'll do one with the work sharp. It'll be the same stones, just a fixed angled system instead of freehand, which usually will ultimately lead to a little bit better results. And this was the first edge. However, I didn't feel that this edge was very burnt. I want to say that off the bat. Now, will the edge retention increase with sharpenings? Yeah, possibly by a little bit. I don't see it really increasing too much, but we'll see. I might get a little bit more, 5-10% more cutting out of using the work sharp and doing multiple edges. And I did remove a good amount of steel with the first edge. I usually try to do that with my first edges. Just remove a little bit extra with my first stone. But yeah, there was a couple points where, I'm not used to doing these cut tests, guys. This is my first one. So forgive me if, I'm not doing everything perfect. I probably should have used a little bit shorter cardboard instead of 15-inch pieces, because trying to use a taped off knife with only a 1-inch section going down it, I mean, it was fine, but, and then, trying to cut the paper with that little 1-inch section, I did wind up taking the tape off of the knife because it wasn't biting into the paper, but I felt like the edge was still pretty sharp, so I did continue. I took off the tape and I still only used the 1-inch section, but I wanted to make sure it was still cutting clean because it wasn't biting into the paper properly. So this is the last piece, so let's check out the results. Okay, so 185 cuts times 15 divided by 12 equals 231 feet. Now you'll see it's still sharp back, because remember I only used a 1-inch section up here, so you'll see it's very sharp back here. Once we get into the section, it still cuts and it could easily be stropped out, but you can hear it's, you know, struggling. And when I try to cut into the paper like this, there's no bite. So that's why I stopped it. It's definitely still sharp, but just trying to bite into the paper isn't going so good. So that's exactly why I stopped it. And like I said, you know, it's still sharp. It still cuts. But 231 feet, I think, is a very respectable number. Now, I need to go and compare it to other 14C28N cut tests to see where it lies with them. Now, remember, this is my knife, my geometry, my edge, freehand edge, all the variables, yes, tons of them. This is only my knife, my specific edge, blah, blah, blah. But I'd still like to compare it to see where it lies with the other stuff. Now, I'm happy with it. I think, like I said, I think it's a respectable number. I think Civivi's doing a great job with their 14C28N. They say they are heat treating it at 61 HRC, and I believe it. I have no way to verify it, but, you know, it does seem that they're doing a pretty good job with it. Now, I might do a cut test with the work sharp because it'll be the same stones. It'll just be a fixed angled system edge. You know, maybe it'll do better than my freehand edge. I don't know. If I do, I'll cut in a little section in this video and put it in. I might not, though. I'm probably not gonna. I'm happy with the results now. I didn't do a verifiable cut, you know, test, you know, 2 cut tests in a row. Maybe I should have. That's what Outpost 76 does. It is probably a more respectable way to do it. This was on its first edge, so it could possibly increase with another edge. But regardless, this is the what I got. I'm happy with it. I felt like it was, you know, a pretty legit test. But I would love to see Outpost 76 or somebody else also do a video. We can compare results, even though they are different variables, but I would still love to see it. Now, I think they're doing a great job with it. I really like 14C28N. I think it's a great steel. I think it has good edge retention. It's very easy to sharpen. It's a tough steel. It's very stain resistant. They can grind it to really good geometry, and I think a lot of that has to do with some of the toughness. Now, I'm not saying toughness is very important when it comes to folding knives. I'm not saying that at all, but they can get really good geometry with 14C28N steel, and I like it. I like the edge it takes. I like how easy it sharpens. You know, it always seems to do really well for me in the field and when I'm using it. And another thing that I really like about it is that I can easily tune this up in the field. Now, I can tune any steel up in the field. I just want to say that right off the bat. Any steel I can tune up. But this is hyper responsive to a strop. I can strop it back so easily that I can keep an edge going for much and you know, sometimes with other steels that are really good that might get a lot more cutting out of it, and I'm not saying all steels, I'm just saying some steels will tend to microchip, and they take a little bit more effort to bring back, you know, and sometimes you have to just do a full-blown sharpening. Now, I'm not saying most of the time they won't hone or strop back, but 14C28N just it does very well, and it's very easy to deal with and use, especially for what you get out of it. A lot of times when steels are very easy to deal with, they tend to not give you the best results, especially with edge retention. And in this case, you know, with 14C, it just happens to slide right in the middle of like all kinds of steel. You know, no, it's not the best, but it's far from the worst, you know, and it just sits right in the middle, really happy. And that's another reason why I like it. You know, you can get it for a great budget, and for what you're getting, you know, I'll pay for it every day of the week. I love it. I think it's good. I think it's great. I think it's good to go. I think it's a good to go steel for most situations, whether it was a fixed blade or a folding knife. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't have other favorite steels. I love all steels personally. I love them all, for different reasons. You know, all steels have their benefits and their negatives. But, you know, I don't see a lot of negatives with 14C. The only thing, you know, is maybe if you're really wanting that extreme edge retention. But, you know, with a little bit of stropping, you can get crazy edge retention. Like, I could easily strop this back and just keep going with it. But there you guys go. 231 feet, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.